Of Malfi by John Webster. Just a couple of thanks are in order. Of course, the show wouldn't be possible without St. Paul's Episcopal Church, Umbrella Theater Company, Utah Zoo Arts and Parks, the ThreePenny Founders Club, and of course you. We wouldn't be able to put on these shows without an audience, and we always love seeing this many people coming out and supporting live theater, especially a company of our size. Just, of course, a couple of ground rules. If you could silence or turn off your cell phones so that we don't have any kind of interruptions throughout our performance this evening, we would really appreciate that. If you can try to stay seated throughout the entire performance, it only runs about 90 minutes. It's not going to include an intermission, but actors are going to be moving in and out of both of these doorways, and they'll also be moving around the audience just a little bit. So we don't want any collisions to occur throughout our performance either. And kind of the last thing I like to say is that I know this is a Renaissance play, so you might have the idea that this needs to be stuffy, and you need to kind of sit back and be quiet, but feel free to laugh, feel free to cry along with our actors and everything. Have a great time, and we hope you enjoy Duchess of Malfi.
To a fixed order, the judicious king begins at home, considering duly that a prince's court is like a common fountain whence should flow pure silver drops in general. But if a chance, some cursed example were to poison it near the head, death and diseases through the whole land spread. But what is it makes this blessed government a most provident council, who dare freely inform him of the corruption of the times? Though some of the court find it presumption to instruct princes what they ought to do, it is their noble duty to inform them what they ought to foresee. Here's the cardinal.
What's that cardinal? I mean her temper. They say she's brave. Will play her 5,000 crowns at tennis, dance, court ladies, and one that hath fought single combats.
Some such flashes do hang on her for form, but observe her inward character. She's a melancholy churchwoman. The spring in her face is nothing but the engendering of toads. Where she's jealous of any man, she lays in her way panders, flatterers, intelligencers, atheists, and 1,000 such political monsters.
I do haunt you still.
So?
I have done thee better service than to be slighted thus. What miserable age, where only the reward for doing well is the doing of it.
You enforce your merit too much.
I fell into the galleys in your service, where for 2 years I wore 2 towels instead of a shirt, with a knot on the shoulder, after the fashion of a Roman mantle. Slighted thus. I'll thrive some way. Blackbirds fatten best in hard weather. Why not I in these dog days?
Would you could become honest.
There are rewards for hawks and dogs when they have done us service. But for a soldier who hazards his limbs in a battle, nothing but a kind of geometry is his last supportation.
Be sure you entertain that Basola for your intelligence. I would not be seen in it, and therefore many times have slighted him.
What's her sister?
The Duke there, most perverse and turbulent nature, what appears in her mirror is merely outside. If she laugh hardly, it is to laugh all honesty out of fashion.
Twins.
In quality, she speaks with others' tongues, listens to men's suits with others' ears, will appear to sleep on the bench only to entrap offenders in their answers, dooms men to death by information, rewards by hearsay.
Then law to her is like a foul cobweb to a spider. She makes it her dwelling and a prison to entangle those shall feed her.
Ugh, he comes. I'll have you.
I knew this Basola. 7 years in the galleys for a notorious murder. And 'twas thought the cardinal suborned it. He was released by the French general, Gaston de Foix, when he recovered Naples.
'Tis great pity he should be thus neglected. I have heard he's very valiant. This foul melancholy will poison all his goodness. For I'll tell you, if too immoderately sleep be truly said to be an inward rust of the soul, if then doth follow want of action, breeds all black men's content to their clothes weary, like a moth in cloth through hurt for want of wearing.
I was lured to you.
My sister, the cardinal, could never abide you.
No, never since she was in my debt.
Maybe it was some oblique character in your face that made her suspect you.
Doth she study physiognomy? She does suspect me wrongfully.
For that, you must give women leave to take their times. Distrust doth cause us seldom be deceived.
To suspect a friend unworthily instructs him the next day to suspect you and prompts him to deceive you.
There's gold.
So, what follows? Whose throat must I cut?
Your inclination to shed blood writes post before my occasion to use you. Observe the Duchess, to note all the particulars of behavior, which suitors do solicit her for marriage, and to whom she best affects. She's a young widow. I would not have her marry again.
No, sir?
Do not you ask the reason, but be satisfied. I say I would not.
It seems you would want to make me one of your familiars.
Familiar? What's that?
My quaint, invisible devil in flesh. An intelligencer.
Such a kind of thriving thing I would wish thee, that ere long thou mayest arrive at a higher place by it.
Oh, keep your devils, which hell calls angels. Those cursed gifts would make you a corrupter, and me an impudent traitor. And should I take them, they would take me to hell. For the good deed you have done me, I must do all the ills that man can invent. Thus, the devil candies all sins over.
Away.
Oh, for their sister.
Right, noble Duchess, you never set your eye upon 3 fair medals cast in one figure of such different temper.
You are a widow. You know already what man is, and therefore let not youth, high promotion, eloquence, nor anything without the addition, honor, sway your high blood.
Will you hear me? I'll never marry.
So most widows say. And yet commonly that motion lasts no longer than the turning of an hourglass. The funeral sermon and it end both together.
Diamonds are of most value, they say, that have passed through most jewelers' hands.
Whores, by that rule, are precious.
Her discourse is so full of rapture, you will only begin then to be sorry when she doth end her speech, and wish and wonder she held it less vainglory to talk much, and your penance to hear her.
Now hear me. You live in a rank pasture here in the court. There's a kind of honeydew that's deadly. 'Twill poison your fame. Look to it. Be not cunning, for they whose faces do belie their hearts are witches, ere they arrive at 20 years.
This is terrible, good counsel.
And that look, their speakage such a constance as to cut up all lascivious and vain hope.
Hypocrisy is woven of a fine small thread. Your darkest thoughts, nay, your privatest actions will come to light.
You may flatter yourself and take your own choice. Privately be married under the eaves of night.
Think it the best voyage that e'er you made.
The marriage night is an entrance into some prison.
And those joys, those lustful pleasures, are like heavy sleeps which do forerun man's mischief.
I think this speech between you both was studied. It came so roundly off.
Wisdom begins at the end. Remember it.
Her days are practiced in such noble virtue that her nights, nay more, her very sleeps are closer to heaven than other lady shrips. Let all sweet ladies break their flattering glasses and dress themselves in her.
Fie, Antonio, you play the wire drawer with her commendations.
I'll kiss the picture up only this much. All her particular worth goes to this side. She stains the time past, lights the time to come.
Shall this move me? If all my royal kindred lay in my way unto this marriage, I'd make them my low footsteps. Let old wives report, I winked and chose a husband. Cariola, to thine own secrecy I have given up more than my life, my fame.
Both shall be safe, for I'll conceal the secret from the world.
I believe it. Is Antonio come? Then place thyself behind the arras where thou mayest overhear us. Wish me good speed, for I am going into the wilderness, where I shall find nor path nor friendly clue to be my guide.
You must attend my lady in the gallery.
I shall.
I sent for you. Sit down, take pen and ink, and write. Are you ready?
Yes.
What did I say?
That I should write something.
Oh, I remember. After these triumphs and this large expense, it's fit, like thrifty husbands, we inquire what's laid up for tomorrow.
So please, your beauteous excellence.
Beauteous. Indeed, I thank you. I look young for your sake. I have taken my cares upon you.
I'll fetch your grace the particulars of your revenue and expense.
Oh, you are an upright treasurer, but you mistook. I am making my will, as 'tis fit princes should, in perfect memory. And I pray, sir, tell me, were not one better make it smiling thus, than in deep groans and terrible ghastly looks, as if the gifts we parted with procured that violent distraction?
Oh, much better.
If I had a husband now, this care were quit. But I intend to make you overseer. What good deed shall we first remember? Say.
Begin with that first good deed began after man's creation, the sacrament of marriage. I would have you first provide for a good husband. Give him all.
Oh!
Yes, your excellent self.
In a winding sheet.
In a couple.
Saint Winifred, that were a strange will.
To a stranger, there were no will in you to marry again.
What do you think of marriage?
Say, a man never married nor have children. What takes that from him? Only the bare name of being a father. Or the sweet delight to see the little wanton ride a horse upon a painted stick, or hear him chatter like a taught child.
Fie. What's all this? One of your eyes is bloodshot. Use my ring to it. They say 'tis very sovereign. 'Twas my wedding ring, and I did vow never to part with it, but to my second husband.
You have parted with it now.
Yes, to help your eyesight.
There's a saucy and ambitious devil is dancing in the circle.
Remove him. Your finger may do it. Thus. Is it fit?
What say you?
Sir, this goodly roof of yours is too low built. I cannot stand upright in it, nor discourse without I raise it higher.
Ambition, madam, is a great man's madness, which makes it lunatic beyond all cure. Conceive not I am so stupid, but I aim where to your favors tend.
You may discover what a wealthy mine I make your lord of.
Oh, my unworthiness!
If you will know or breathe the complete man, I speak it without flattery. Turn your
but for your sisters.
Do not think of them. All discord without this circumference is only to be pitied and not feared. Yet should they know it, time will easily scatter the tempest.
If there were no heaven nor hell, I should be honest. I have long served virtue and never taken wages of her.
Now she pays it. And misery of us that are born great. We are forced to woo because none dare woo us. And as a tyrant doubles with his words and fearfully equivocates, so we are forced to express our violent passions in riddles and in dreams and leave the path of simple virtue which was never made to seem the thing it is not. Go. Go, brag, you have left me heartless. Mine is in your bosom. I hope to multiply love there. You tremble. Make not your hearts of dead a piece of flesh as to fear more than to love me. Sir, be confident. What is it distracts you? This is flesh and blood, sir. It is not the figure cut in alabaster kneels at my husband's tomb. Awake. Awake, man. I do here put off all vain ceremony and only do appear to you a young widow that does claim you for her husband. And like a widow, I use but half a blush in it.
Truth speak for me. I will remain the constant sanctuary of your good name.
I thank you, gentle love. Raise yourself. Or if you please, my hand to help you. I have heard lawyers say a contract in a chamber, per verba presenti, is absolute merit.
And there are sweet affections like the spheres be still in motion.
Quickening and make like soft music.
That we may imitate the loving palms, best emblem of a peaceful marriage that never bore fruit divided.
What can the church force more?
That fortune may not know an accident either of joy or sorrow to divide our fixed wishes.
Here upon your lips, I sign your quietest S. This you should have begged now. I have seen children oft eat sweets as fearful to devour them so soon. We now are man and wife, and 'tis the church that must but echo this. Lead your fortune by the hand unto your marriage bed.
Whether the spirit of greatness or of woman reign most in her, I know not, but it shows a fearful madness. I owe her much of pity.
I observe our Duchess is sick a days. She wanes in the cheek and waxes fat in the flank. Contrary to our Italian fashion, wears a loose-bodied gown. I mean, there's somewhat in it. But I have a trick, may chance discover, a pretty one. I have apricots, the first our season yields.
Your arm, Antonio. Do I not grow fat? I am exceeding short-winded. Sola, I would have you, sir, provide for me a litter, such a one as the Duchess of Florence rode in.
The Duchess used one when she was great with child.
I think she did.
I fear too much. I have a present for your grace.
For me, sir?
Apricots, madam.
Oh, sir, where are they? I have heard of none to year.
Oh, good. Her color rises.
Indeed, I thank you. They are wondrous fair ones. You shall judge. Pray, taste one.
Indeed, madam, I do not love the fruit.
'Tis a delicate fruit. They say they are restorative.
How greedily she eats them.
Thank you, Basola. They're right good ones. They do not make me sick.
Oh, now, madam.
This green fruit and my stomach are not friends. How they swell me.
Nay, you are too much swelled already.
Oh, I'm in extreme cold sweat.
I am very sorry.
Lights to my chamber. Oh, good Antonio, I fear I am undone. Lights, sir, lights.
Oh, my most trusty Deli, we are lost. Our creature's fallen in labor, and there's no time for a remove.
Make use, then, of this forced occasion. Give out that Basola hath poisoned her with these apricots. That will give some color for her keeping close.
Fie, the physicians will then flock to her.
For that, you may pretend she'll use some prepared antidote of her own, lest the physician should re-poison her.
Shut up the court gates. Shove the posterns presently, and call all the officers of the court. We have lost much plate, you know. And this evening jewels to the value of 4,000 ducats are missing from the Duchess's cabinet. It is the Duchess's pleasure each officer be locked into his chamber, and just till the sun rising, and to send the keys of all their chests and outward doors to her bedchamber. She's very sick. How fares it with the Duchess?
Sir, I wish you all the joys of a blessed father.
Sir, you are the happy father of a son.
Blessed comfort. Tend her well. I'll presently go and set a figure for its nativity.
Sure, I could hear a woman shriek. Listen! Ha! The sound came, if I received it right, from the Duchess's lodgings. You know, there's some stratagem in confining all our courtiers to their several wards. I must have a part in it. My intelligence will freeze, else. Listen! Again! Or maybe it was just a melancholy bird, the best friend of silence, solitariness, the owl that screams so. Antonio!
I heard some noise. Who's there? What art thou? Speak!
Antonio, put not thy face nor body to such a forced expression of fear. I am Bastola, your friend.
Heard you not a noise even now?
From whence?
From the Duchess's lodgings.
Not I. Did you?
Yes, or else I dreamed.
Let's walk towards it.
No, 'twas but the rising of the wind.
Very likely. Methinks 'tis cold, and yet you sweat. You look wildly.
What's that to you? 'Tis rather to be questioned what design, when all men were commanded to their lodgings, makes you a night walker.
Well, in sooth, I'll tell you. By now all the castle's asleep. I thought that the devil had least to do here. I came to say my prayers. And if that do offend you, then you are a fine courtier.
This fellow will undo me. You gave the Duchess apricots today. Pray heaven they were not poisoned.
Poisoned! A Spanish fig for the imputation.
Traitors are ever confident till they are discovered.
You are a false steward.
Saucy slave, I'll pull thee up by the roots.
Maybe the ruin will crush you to pieces.
You're an impudent snake indeed, sir. Do you scarce warm? Do you libel well, sir?
Nay, sir. Copy it out. I'll set my hand to it.
Nosebleeds. When there were superstitions would count this ominous, and it merely comes by chance. 2 letters that are wrought here for my name are drowned in blood. Coincidence. For you, sir, I'll take order. In the morn you shall be safe. This door you pass not. I do not hold it fit you see the Duchess's lodgings till you have quit yourself.
Antonio here about to drop a piece of paper. With your help, false friend. Here it is. Now what's here? A child's nativity. Calculated. The Duchess was delivered of a son between the hours of 12 and 1 this morning. Taken according to the meridian of Malfi, the lord of the first house being combust in the ascendant signifies short life. And Mars, being a human sign, joined to the tail of the dragon in the 8th house, doth threaten a violent death. Happy discovery! A letter that shall make her sister's galls overflow their livers. This was a thrifty way. Though lust do mask in ne'er so strange disguise, she's oft found witty, but never wise.
I have this night digged up a mandrake,
Say you.
and I am grown mad with it.
What's the prodigy?
Read there, a sister grown a notorious strumpet.
Speak lower.
Lower! Rogues, do not whisper it now. Aloud and with a covetous searching eye to mark who note them. Rhubarb, for rhubarb to purge this collar. Here marks the cursed day to prompt my memory, and here it shall stay till of her bleeding heart I I make a sponge to wipe it out.
Why do you make yourself so wild a tempest?
Would I could be one, that I might toss her palace about her ears, root up her goodly forest, and lay her general territory to waste as she hath done her honors.
Shall our blood be thus attainted?
Apply desperate physic. We must not now use balsamum, but fire, to purge infected blood, such blood as hers. Excellent hyena! Talk to me somewhat quickly, or my imagination will carry me to see her in the shameful act of sin.
With whom?
Happily, with some strong thigh bargeman. Or one of the woodyard who can quoit the sledge or toss the bar. Or else a lovely squire who carries coals up to her privy lodgings.
You fly beyond your reason.
Go to, mistress! 'Tis not your horse milk that shall quench my wild fire, but your horse blood.
How idly shows this rage, which carries you as men conveyed by witches through the air on violent whirlwinds.
Have not you my palsy?
Yes, but I can be angry without this rupture. There is not a thing in nature that makes man so deformed, so beastly as doth intemperate anger. Come, put yourself into me.
So I should only study to seem the thing I am not. I could kill her now, in you or in myself, for I do think it is some sin in us that heaven doth revenge by her.
Are you stark mad?
I could have their bodies burnt in a coal pit, with the vintage thought that their cursed smoke might not ascend to heaven. Or have the sheets they lie in dipped in pitch or sulfur, wrap them in it, then light it like a match. Or else to boil their bastard to a colus and give it his lecherous father to renew the sin of his back.
All of you.
Nay, I have done. I am persuaded, had I been damned in hell and should have heard of this, it would have put me in a cold sweat. In, I'll go sleep. Till I know who loves my sister, I'll not stir. That known, I'll find scorpions to string my whips and fix her in a general eclipse.
Hither and the glass. You get no lodging here tonight, my lord.
Indeed, I must persuade you.
Very good. I hope in time 'twill grow into a custom that noblemen shall come with cap and me to purchase the night's lodging of their wives.
I must like it.
Must. You are the lord of misrule.
Indeed, my rule is only in the night.
I'll stop your mouth.
Nay, that's no matter. Venus had 2 soft doves to draw her chariot. I must have another.
Prithee, when were we so merry? When wilt thou marry, Cariola?
Never, my lady.
Oh, fie upon this single life, forgo it! We read how Daphne for a peevish flight became a fruitless bay tree. Ceres turned to the pale empty reed. Anaxarete was frozen into marble. Whereas those who married or proved kind unto their friends were by a gracious glory transhaped into the olive, pomegranate, mulberry, became flowers, precious stones, or eminent stars.
This is a vain poetry. But, I pray you tell me, if there were proposed in me wisdom, riches, and beauty, in 3 several young men, which should I choose?
'Tis a hard question. I do wonder why hard-favored ladies, for the most part, keep worse-favored waiting women to attend them and cannot endure fair ones.
Oh? That's soon answered. Did you ever in your life know an ill painter desire to have his dwelling next door to the shop of an excellent picture maker? 'Twould disgrace his face-making and undo him. Hair tangles.
Pray be careful. steal forth the room and let her talk to herself. I have divers slags serve her life. When she hath chaffed extremely, I love to see her angry. Quiet.
How thrives our intelligence?
Sir, uncertainly. 'Tis rumored she had a bastard, but by whom we may go read in the stars.
By some hold opinion, all things are written there.
Yes? If only we had spectacles to read them.
The witchcraft lies in her rank blood. Tonight I will force confession from her. You told me you got within these 2 days a false key into her bedchamber?
I have.
As I would wish.
What do you intend to do?
Can you guess?
No.
Do not ask then. Away!
Before you would vouchsafe to call for the keys, we should one day have my sisters take you napping. Methinks her presence being now in port should make you keep your own bed, but you'll say, love mixed with fear is sweetest. I'll assure you, you shall get no more children till my sisters consent to be your gossips. Have you lost your tongue? 'Tis welcome. For know whether I am doomed to live or die, I can do both like a prince.
Die then, quickly! Virtue, where art thou hid? What hideous thing is it that doth eclipse thee?
Pray, hear me.
Or is it true thou art but a bare name and no essential thing?
Please.
Do not speak!
No, I will plant my soul in mine ears to hear you.
Oh, most imperfect light of human reason, which makes us so unhappy to foresee what we can least prevent. Pursue thy wishes, and glory in them, for there's in shame no comfort, but to be past all sense and bounds of shame.
I pray, hear me, I am married.
So,
Happily, not to your liking. But for that, alas, your shears do come untimely now to clip the bird's wings that's already flown. Will you see my husband?
yes. If I could change eyes with a basilisk!
Or you came hither by his confederacy.
Oh, the howling of a wolf is music to thee, screech owl, prithee, peace. Whate'er thou art that hast enjoyed my sister, for I am sure thou hearest me. For thine own sake, let me not know thee. I came hither prepared to work thy discovery, yet am now persuaded it would beget such violent effects as would damn us both. I would not for 10 millions I have beheld thee. Therefore, use all means I never may have knowledge of thy name. Enjoy thy lust still, and a wretched life on that condition. And for thee, vile woman, if thou do wish thy lecher may grow old in thy embracements, I would have you build such a room as our anchorites to holier use inhabit. Let not the sun shine on him till he's dead. Let dogs and monkeys only converse with him in such dumb things to whom nature denies use to sound his name. Do not keep a parakeeto, lest she learn it. If you do love him, cut out thine own tongue, lest it betray him.
Why might not I marry? I have not gone about in this to create any new world or custom. Why should only I, of all the other princes in the world, be cased up like a holy relic? I have youth and a little beauty.
So, you have some virgins that are witches. I will never see thee more.
You saw this apparition.
Yes, we are betrayed. How came she hither?
She left this with me.
It seems to wish you would use it on yourself.
Her actions seem to intend so much. I must now accuse you of such a famed crime. A noble lie, because it must shield our honors. The place that you must fly to is Ancona.
How now, who knocks?
'Tis Basola. They are coming.
What's the matter?
Antonio, the master of our household, hath dealt so falsely with me in his accounts.
Strange! This is coming.
I have not well yielded me 1,000,000 of loss I am like to inherit. I would have this man be an example to you all. So shall you hold my favor, I pray. Let him. For he has done that, alas, you would not think of. And because I intend to be rid of him, I mean not to publish. Use your fortune elsewhere.
You may see what 'tis to serve a prince with body and soul.
I would know what are your opinions of this Antonio.
Sure. He was too honest. He was an excellent courtier, and most faithful. A soldier who thought it as beastly to know his value too little, as devilish to acknowledge it too much. His breast was filled with all perfection, and yet it seemed a whispering room and made so little noise of it.
You render me excellent music.
To say you.
This good one that you speak of is my husband.
Do I not dream? What, can this ambitious age have so much goodness in it as to prefer a man merely for his worth, without the shadows of wealth and painted honors? It's possible.
I have had a child by him.
Oh, fortunate lady! You have made your private nuptial bed the humble and fair seminary of peace. Why, no question, but many an unbenefited scholar shall pray for you for this, and rejoice that some preferment in the world may yet arise from merit. As for Antonio, his fame shall likewise flow from many a pen when herald shall want coats to sell to men.
As I taste comfort in this friendly speech, so would I find concealment.
Oh. Secret of my prince, which I will wear on the inside of my heart.
Follow him. Place he retires to is Ancona, whither within a few days I mean to follow thee.
Let me think. I would wish your grace to feign a pilgrimage to Our Lady of Loretto. It's scarce 7 leagues from fair Ancona, so you may depart your country with more honor, and your flight will seem a princely progress, retaining your usual train about you.
In my opinion, I do not like this jesting with religion, this feigned pilgrimage.
Thou art a superstitious fool. Prepare us instantly for departure. Past sorrows, let us moderately lament them. For those to come, seek wisely to prevent them.
The politician is the devil's quilted anvil. He fashions all of his sins on him, but the blows are never heard. He may work in a lady's chamber as here for proof. What rest but I have to reveal all to my lord? Oh, this base quality of intelligence. Why, every quality in the world prefers but gain or commendation. Now for this act, I'm certain to be raised. As men that paint weeds to the life are praised.
But she makes religion her riding hood to keep her from the sun and tempest.
That damns her. Methinks her fault and beauty, blended together, show like leprosy. The whiter, the fouler. Make it a question whether her beggarly brat was ever christened.
I will instantly solicit the state of Ancona to have them banished.
You are for Loretto. I shall not be at your ceremony. Fare you well. Write to the Duke of Malfi. my young nephew she had by her first husband and acquaint him with his mother's honesty.
I will.
Antonio, a slave that only smelled of ink and counters and never in his life looked like a gentleman but in the audit time. Go, and draw out 150 of our horse. I will meet you at the footbridge.
I had a very strange dream tonight.
What was it?
I thought I wore my coronet of state, and all of a sudden all the diamonds were changed to pearls.
My interpretation is you'll weep shortly, for to me the pearls do signify your tears.
The birds that live in the field on the wild benefit of nature live happier than we, for they may choose their mates and carol their sweet pleasures to the spring.
You are happily overtaken.
From my sister?
Yes, from Lord Ferdinand, your sister, all love and peace.
Thou dost blanch mischief. Wouldst make it what? See, like to calm weather at sea before a tempest. False hearts speak fair to those they intend most mischief. Send Antonio to me, I want his head in a business. A politic equivocation! She doth not want your counsel, but your head. And if she cannot sleep till you be dead.
And what from you?
Tell them I will not come. My sisters have dispersed bloodhounds abroad, which till I hear are muzzled, I will not come at them.
Every small thing draws a base mind to fear, as the adamant draws iron. Fare thee well, sir. You shall soon hear from us.
I suspect some ambush. Therefore, by all my love, I do conjure you to take our son and fly towards Milan. Let us not venture all this poor remainder into one unlucky bottom.
You counsel safely. Best of my life, do not weep, for heaven fashioned us of nothing, and we strive to bring ourselves to nothing.
I know not which is best, to see you dead or part with you. Farewell, boy. Thou art happy that thou hast not understanding to know thy misery, for all our wit and reading brings us to a truer sense of sorrow.
I do never see thee more.
Let me look upon you once more, for that speech came from a dying father. Your kiss is colder than that I have seen a holy anchorite give to a dead man's skull.
My heart is turned to a heavy lump of lead, with which I sound my danger. Fare you well.
My laurel is all withered.
Look, madam, an armed man makes toward us.
I would have my ruin be sudden. I am your adventure, am I not?
You are. You must see your husband no more.
Oh, misery, like to a rusty, overcharged cannon. Shall I never fly in pieces? Come, to what prison?
To none.
Whither then?
To your palace. Your sisters bring you safety and pity.
Pity! With such a pity, men preserve alive pheasants and quails when they are not fat enough to be eaten.
Fie, madam! Forget this base and low fellow!
Say that he was born mean. Man is most happy when his actions be arguments and examples of his virtue.
A barren, beggarly virtue!
I prithee, who is greatest? Can you tell? Sad tales befit my woe. I'll tell you one. Come. Sit. Salmon. She swam unto the sea, met with a dogfish, who encounters her with this rough language. Why art thou so bold to mix thyself with our high state of floods, being no eminent courtier, but one that for the calmest and freshest time of the year doth live in shallow rivers, and ranks thyself with silly smelts and shrimps? And darest thou pass by our dog ship without reverence? Oh, quoth the salmon, sister, be at peace. Thank Jupiter we both have passed the net. Our value can never truly be known till in the fisher's basket we be shown. In the market then my price may be the higher, even when I am nearest to the cook and fire. So to great men the moral may be stretched. Men oft are valued high when they are most wretched. But come, whither you please. I am armed against misery, bent to all sways of the oppressor's will. There's no deep valley, but near some great hill.
How doth our sister Duchess bear herself in her imprisonment?
Nobly, sir. I'll describe her. She's sad as one long used to. She seems to welcome the end of misery rather than shun it. Behavior so noble as brings a majesty to adversity. You may discern the shape of loveliness, more perfect in her tears than in her smiles. She will muse for hours together, and the silence, methinks, expresseth more than if she spake.
Her melancholy seems to be fortified by a strange disdain.
Why do you do this?
To bring her to despair.
Faith, end here. Go no further in your cruelty. Send her a penitential garment to put on next to her delicate skin, and furnish her with beads and prayer books.
Damn her! That body of hers, while that my blood run pure in it, is worth more than that which thou wouldst comfort called a soul. I will send her masks of common courtesans, have her meat served up by bawds and ruffians, and cut she'll needs be mad. I am convinced to move forward the common hospital, all the mad folk, and place them near her lodgings. There let them practice together, sing and dance, and act their gambols to the full of the moon. If she can sleep the better for it, let her. Your work is almost ended.
Must I see her again?
Yes.
Never.
You must.
Never in my own shape. That's fortified by my intelligence and by this last cruel lie. When you send me next, the business shall be comfort.
Very likely. Your pity is nothing of kin to thee. Antonio lurks about Milan. You shall shortly thither to feed a fire as great as my revenge, which will never slack till it hath spent his fuel. Intemperate augs make physicians cruel.
Sit down.
Discourse me to some dismal tragedy.
To increase your melancholy.
Thou art deceived. To hear of greater grief would lessen mine. This is a prison.
Yes, but you shall live to shake the sterns off.
Thou art a fool. The robin redbreast and the nightingale never live long in cages.
Pray, madam, dry your eyes. What think you of?
Of nothing. When I muse thus, I sleep.
Like a madman with your eyes open.
Dost thou think we shall know one another in the other world?
Yes. Out of question.
Oh, that it were possible we might but hold some 2 days' conference with the dead. From them I should learn somewhat, and sure I shall never know here. I'll tell thee a miracle. I am not mad yet. To my cause of sorrow, the heaven over my head seems made of molten brass, the earth of flaming sulfur. Yet I am not mad. I am acquainted with sad misery as the tanned galley slave is with his oar. Necessity makes me suffer constantly, and custom makes it easy. Who do I look like now?
Like to your picture in the gallery. A deal of life in show, but none in practice. Or like some reverend monument whose ruins are even pitied.
Very proper. And fortune seems only to have her eyesight to behold my tragedy. Is he mad too?
I am come to make thy tomb.
My tomb! Thou speakst as if I lay upon my deathbed gasping for breath. Dost perceive me sick?
Yes, and all the more dangerously for it, for thy sickness is insensible.
Dost know me?
Yes.
Who am I?
What's this flesh? Not a little crudded milk? Some fantastical puff paste? Didst thou ever see a log in a cage? Such is the soul in the body. The earth is but a little turf of grass, and the heavens over our heads are a looking glass. Gives us a miserable knowledge of the small compass of our prison.
I am Duchess of Malfi still.
That makes thy sleep so broken. Glories like glowworms afar off shine bright, but looked too near have neither heat nor light.
Thou art very plain.
My trade is to flatter the dead, not the living. I'm a tomb maker.
And thou comest to make my tomb?
Yes. Here's a gift from thy princely sisters, and may it arrive welcome, for it brings last benefit and last sorrow.
Let me see it. I have so much obedience in my blood, I wish it in their veins to do them good.
This is thy last presence chamber.
My sweet lady, peace. It affrights not me.
I am the common bellman, who is usually sent to condemned persons the night before they suffer.
Even now thou saidst thou wast a tomb maker.
'Twas to bring you, by degrees, to mortification.
Oh, heck! Who are you tyrants and murderers? Alas, what will you do with my lady? Call for help.
To whom?
Remove that noise!
No! Thou wilt have to give to me first! My last will, I have not much left to give. Many a hungry guest hath fed upon me. Thine will be a poor reversion.
I will die with you.
Now what you please. What death?
Strangulation. Here is thy executioner.
I forgive them.
Doth death not affright you?
Who would be afraid on it?
Still, I would think the manner of your death should afflict you. These cords should terrify you.
Not a whit. What, would it pleasure me to have my throat cut with diamonds? Or to be smothered with cassia? Or to be shot to death with pearls? I know death hath 10,000 several doors for men to take their exits. Go tell my sisters. Now I perceive death, I am well awake. Best gift as they can give or I can take. I am ready. Pull and pull strongly. For your able strength must pull down heaven upon me. Come. Violent death. Serve for mandragora to make me sleep. Go tell my sisters. When I am laid out, then they may feed in quiet.
you? Your mistress sleeps there.
You are damned perpetually for this. My turn is next. Is it not so ordered?
Yes, and I am happy you are so well prepared for it.
You are deceived, sir! I will not die. I will first come to know how I have offended.
Now, dispatcher, you have kept her counsel. Now you shall keep ours.
Bear the body heads. Let her lie still.
Is she dead?
She is what you'd have her. But here begin your pity. Fix your eye here.
Constantly.
But do you not weep? Other sins only speak, but murder shrieks out. The element of water moistens the earth, but blood flies upwards with the dew of the heavens.
Mine eyes dazzle. She died young.
I think not so. Her infelicity hath years too many.
She and I were twins, and should I die this instant, I lived her time to the minute.
It seemed she was older. You have bloodily approved the ancient truth, that common kindred do worse agree than promote strangers.
Let me see her face again.
Why didst thou not pity her? What an excellent, honest man mightst thou have been if thou hadst borne her to some sanctuary, or bold in a good cause opposed thyself with thy advanced sword above thy head between her innocence and my revenge. I bade thee when I was distracted of my wits. Go kill my dearest friend. And thou hast done it. For let me but examine well the cause. What was the meanness of her match to me? Only I must confess, I had a hope, had she remained widow, to have gained an infinite mass of treasure upon her death. And that was the main cause. Her marriage that drew a stream of gall quite through my heart. And for thee, as we observe in tragedies, a good actor oftentimes is cursed for playing the villain's part. I hate thee for it. And for my sake, I say thou hast done me much ill will.
Let me quicken your memory, for I perceive you are falling into ingratitude. I demand the challenge, the satisfaction due to my service.
I'll tell thee what I'll give thee.
Do.
I'll give thee a pardon for this murder.
Ha!
Yes! And 'tis the greatest bounty I can study to do thee. By what authority didst thou execute this bloody sentence?
By yours.
Mine? Was I her judge? Did any ceremonial court of law doom her to not being? Did a complete jury deliver her conviction up in the court? Where shalt thou find this judgment register unless in hell? See, like a bloody fool, thou hast forfeited thy life, and thou shalt die for it.
The office of justice is perverted quite. When one thief hangs another, who shall dare to reveal this?
Oh, I'll tell thee. The wolf shall find the grave and scrape it up, not to devour the corpse, but to discover this horrid murder.
You, not I, shall quake for it.
Leave me.
I will receive my pension first.
You are a villain!
enjoyed gratitude is judged, I am so.
Oh, horror! That him which fights the devil cannot prescribe a man obedience. Never look upon me more.
Why, fare thee well. The cardinal and thyself are worthy folk. Thou hast a pair of hearts as hollow graves, rotting and rotting others. Thy vengeance is like 2 chained bullets. You goes arm in arm. You may very well be sisters. For treason, like the plague, doth take much in our blood. I stand like one that hath long taken a sweet and golden dream. I am angry at myself now that I wake.
Get thee into some unknown part of the world that I may never see thee.
Let me know wherefore I should be thus neglected. I rather strove to appear a true servant than an honest man. I did loathe the evil, but I did love that you did counsel it. I rather sought to serve you than all the world.
I will hunt the badger by owllight. 'Tis a deed of darkness.
She's much distracting! Off, my painted honor! While with vain hopes our faculties we tire, we seem to sweat in ice and freeze in fire. What would I do? Were this to do again? I would not trade my peace of conscience for all the wealth of Europe. She stirs. She lives. Oh, return, fair soul, from darkness and lead mine out of this sensible hell. She's warm. She breathes. Upon thy pale lips I'll melt my heart to store them with some fresh color. Who's there? Some cultural drink? No. Alas, I dare not call. So pity would destroy pity. Her eye opes, and in it heaven seems to ope, that late was shut, to take me up to mercy.
Antonio.
Yes, madam. He's living, and reconciled with your sisters. The Pope hath wrought the atonement.
Mercy.
She's gone again. There. The cords of life broke. O sacred innocence that sweetly sleeps. Turtle's feathers. Whilst the guilty conscience is like a black register. Wherein is writ all our good deeds, bad. Perspective shows us hell. That we cannot be suffered to do good whilst we have a mind to it. These tears I am very certain to not grow in my mother's milk. My estate has sunk below the degree of fear. Where were these penitent fountains while she was still living? They were frozen up. Here lies a solaced sight, as direful to my soul, as is the sword unto a wretch hath slain his father. Come, I'll execute thy last will. That the cruel tyrant
denying me. Then I'll post to Milan, where somewhat I will speedily enact worth my dejection.
What think you of my hope of reconcilement to the Aragonian kindred?
I misdoubt it. I cannot think they mean well to your life, that do deprive you of your means of life, your living. For though they have sent their letters of safe conduct for your repair to Milan, they appear but nets to entrap you. What course do you take?
This night I mean to venture all my fortune, which is no more than a poor lingering life, to the cardinal's worst of malice. I have got private access to her bedchamber, and intend to visit her about the mid of night, as once her sister did our noble Duchess. It may be that the sudden apprehension of danger, for I'll go in my own shape, we shall see it frayed with love and duty, may draw the poison out of her and work a friendly reconcilement. If it fail, yet it shall rid me of this infamous calling, for better fall once than be ever fallen.
I'll second you in all danger. But however, my life keeps rank with yours.
You are still my loved and best friend.
Yon's the cardinal's window. This fortification grew from the ruins of an ancient abbey. And to yon side of the river lies a wall, piece of a cloister, which, in my opinion, gives the best echo that you've ever heard. So hollow and so dismal, and withal so clear in the distinction of our words, that many have supposed it is a spirit that answers.
I do love these ancient ruins. We never tread upon them, but we set foot upon some reverent history. And, questionless, here in this open court, which now lies naked to the injuries of stormy weather, some men lie interred, loved the church so well and gave so largely to it, they thought it should have canopied their bones till doomsday. But all things have their end. Churches and cities which have diseases like to man must have like death that we have.
Like death that we have.
Now the echo hath caught you.
It grown methought and gave a very deadly accent.
Deadly accent.
I told you 'twas a pretty one. You may make it a huntsman, or a falconer, a musician, or a thing of sorrow.
Thing of sorrow.
I'm sure that suits it best.
Aye, suits it best.
It is very like my wife's voice.
My wife's voice.
Come, let us walk further from it. Do not go to the cardinal's tonight.
Do not.
Necessity compels me. Make scrutiny through the passages of your own life. You'll find it impossible to fly your fate.
Oh, fly your fate.
The dead stones seem to have pity on you and offer you good counsel.
Echo, I will not talk with thee, for thou art a dead thing.
Thou art a dead thing.
My Duchess is asleep now. Shall I never see her more?
Never see her more.
I mark not one repetition of the echo, but that another sudden, clear light presented me a face folded in sorrow. To live thus is not indeed to live. It is a mockery and abuse of life. I will not henceforth save myself by halves. Lose all or nothing.
Your own virtue save you. I'll fetch your son, and second you. It may be that the sight of her own blood spread in so sweet a figure may beget the more compassion. However, fare thee well. Though in our miseries fortune hath a part, yet in our noble suffering she hath none. Contempt of pain, that we may call our own.
Leave me! Look, what's that follows me?
It's nothing.
Yes?
It's your shadow.
Stay it.
Let it not haunt me.
Impossible if you do move in the sunshine.
I will throttle it. How's it possible I should catch my shadow unless I fall upon it?
Rise, my good lord.
I am practicing the art of patience.
Force her up.
What I have done, I have done. I'll confess nothing.
Are you mad? Are you out of your princely wits?
What's she?
It's your sister.
I must do mad tricks with her.
Hands! Hands! You are all of you like beasts for the sacrifice.
Mercy upon me. What a fatal judgment hath fallen on this Ferdinand.
You have heard it rumored for these many years that none in our family dies, but there is seen in the shape of an old woman, which is given by tradition to us to have been murdered by her nephews for her riches. Such a figure, one night, as the prince sat up late at his book, appeared to her. When crying out for help, the gentleman of his chamber found her grace all on a cold sweat, altered much in face and language, and since which apparition she hath grown worse and worse, and I much fear she cannot live.
Sir, I would speak with you.
This fellow must not know by any means I had any intelligence in our Duchess' death. Though I did counsel it, the full of all the engagements seemed to grow from Ferdinand. Now, sir, how fares our sister? I do not think but sorrow makes her look like to an oft-dyed garment. She shall now take comfort with me. Why do you look so wildly? Oh, the fortune of your master here, the prince, dejects you. But be you of happy comfort. If you do one thing for me, I'll entreat. Though she had a cold tombstone o'er her bones, I'd make you what you would be.
Anything. Name it in a breath, and I'll fly to it. They that think long, small expedition win. For musing much of the end cannot begin.
'Tis thus. Antonio lurks here in Milan. Inquire him out, and kill him. While he is living, our sister cannot be married, and I have thought of an excellent match for her. Do this, and style me thy advancement.
But by what means shall I seek him out?
There is a gentleman called Delio, his loyal friend. Set your eye upon that fellow. Follow him to mass. Antonio may be, though he do account religion but a school name, for fashion of the world may accompany him. Or else go inquire out Delio's confessor and see if you can bribe him to reveal it.
Well, I'll not freeze in the business. Shall see that wretched thing, Antonio, above all other sights in the world. Poor Antonio. Though nothing be so needful to thy estate as pity, yet I find nothing so dangerous. I must look to my footing. In such slippery ice pavements, men had need to be frost-nailed well, they may break their necks else. The precedents here afore me. How this woman seems to bear up in blood, seem fearless. It is well. Security, some men call the suburbs of hell, only a dead wall between. Well, good Antonio, I'll seek thee out. All my care shall be to put thee into safety, away from these cruel biters that have too much of thy blood already. Maybe I'll join with thee in a most just revenge. The weakest arm is strong enough that holds the sword of justice. So, methinks that the Duchess doth haunt me. There! It's just my melancholy. Oh, penitent, let me truly taste thy cup. That puts men down only to raise them up.
question about hell. He says in hell there's one material fire, and yet it burns not all men alike. Lay him by.
Ugh, how tedious is a guilty conscience. When I look out into the fish ponds in my garden, methinks I see a thing armed with a rake that seems to strike at me. My conscience! I would pray, but the devil takes away my heart for having any confidence in prayer. About this hour, I appointed Basolo to fetch the body. When he had served my turn, he dies.
That was the Cardinal's voice. I heard her name Basola and my death. Listen, I hear one's footing. My death is plotted. Thus is the consequence of murder. We value not to deserve no Christian breath when we know that black deeds must be cured with death.
But I take her at her prayers. And her hope of pardon.
Fall right to my sword. I will not give thee so much leisure as to pray.
Oh, I am gone. Thou hast sent a long suit in a moment.
What art thou?
A most wretched thing that only have thy benefit in death.
Basola! Antonio. The man I would have saved above mine own life. Are we but the stars' tennis balls? Was struck and panted, which way pleased them? Good Antonio, let me whisper but one thing in thy ear. It shall make thy heart break quickly. Thy Duchess is murdered. Oh.
So, man, I wish to die at the hearing of sad tidings. I'm glad I shall do it in sadness. Who would be afraid of it, knowing such excellent company as in the other world? I would not now want my wounds balm nor heal, for I have no use to put my life to. In our quest of greatness, like wanton boys whose pastime is their care, we follow after bubbles blown in the air. The pleasure of life, what is it? I do not ask the process of my death, only commend me to Delia.
Pray God.
And let my son fly the courts to princes.
Oh, thou seemest to have loved Antonio. My fate moves swift. The Cardinal is in the fort already. Now I shall bring her to the hammer. Oh, direful this prison. No. More than base. I'll be my own example.
Mixed with some fear.
Thus lightens it into action. I have come to kill thee.
Ah! Help! Help!
How undeceived. They are out of thy howling.
Hold, and I will faithfully divide revenue with thee.
Thy prayers and proffers are both unseasonable.
Raise the watch! We are betrayed! Help! We are betrayed!
I have confined thou.
Damn! What cause hast thou to pursue my life? Antonio!
Slay by this hand. Now pray and be sudden. When thou killest thy sister, thou tookest from justice her most equal balance, and left her not but her sword.
Now it seems thy greatness was only outward, for thou hast fallen faster of thyself than any calamity can drive thee. Oh, waste no time longer! There!
Thou hast hurt me!
Again!
Shall I die like a leopard without any resistance? Help! 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 I am slain!
Yield! Yield! I give you the honor of arms. Shake my sword upon your head while you yield!
Help me! I am your sister!
The devil!
Justice. I suffer now for what hath former been. Sorrow is held the eldest child of sin.
Now my revenge is perfect! See! Thou main cause of my undoing! The last part of my life hath done me best service.
My sister. My sister. There's the cause on it. Whether we fall by ambition, blood, or lust, like diamonds, we are cut with our own dust. Thou hast thy payment too.
Yes, I hold my weary soul between my teeth as ready to part from
How comes this?
Revenge for the Duchess of Malfi, murdered by the Aragonian sisters. For Antonio, slain by this hand. And lastly, for myself, who was an actor in the main of all, much against my own good nature, but in the end, neglected.
Look to my sister. She gave us these large wounds as we were struggling here in the rushes. And now, I pray, let me be laid by a never thought of.
I do glory now that you, which stood like a huge pyramid, begun upon a large and ample base, will now end in a little point, a kind of nothing.
Thou wretched thing of blood! How came Antonio by his death?
In a mist, I know not. Such a mistake I've only seen in a play. I'm gone. We are but dead walls or vaulted graves that ruined yield no echo. Fare thee well. It may be pain, but no harm to die in so good a quarrel. Oh, this gloomy world, in what a pit of shadow or darkness doth fearful mankind live. Let worthy minds never stagger in distrust to suffer death or shame for what is just. Mine is another journey.
I heard so. I was armed for it, here I came. Let us make noble use of this great ruin and join all our force to establish this young, hopeful gentleman in his mother's right. Wretched eminent things leave no more fame behind them than should one fall in a frost and leave his print in snow. As soon as the sun shines, it ever melts, both form and matter. I have ever thought nature doth nothing so great for great men as when she's pleased to make them lords of truth. Integrity of life is fame's best friend, which no